Good to see you back, guys. Again, I'm back with a new tutorial related JavaScript DOM. And in this tutorial, we are going to learn DOM traversal methods. There are total 12 methods that's under traversal method, like parent element, parent node, child, first child, last child, next sibling, previous sibling, etc. These all methods are used to target HTML elements. But before start the practical, we need to understand what is siblings, child element, parent node, first child, because without knowing the basic, it is very difficult to understand it. Assume that it is our DOM object. Here, A is parent element and B, C, D, E, F is child element of A. In JavaScript term, we can call it node, otherwise element. And if we ask who is the first child of A, then the answer is B. B is the first child of A. And if we ask who is the last child of A, then F is the last child of A. So these are all child of A element. Now these all elements are siblings. B, C, D, E, F. They are all siblings. And if I ask you who is the next sibling of D, the answer is E. E is the next sibling of D. And if I ask you who is the previous sibling of D, and the answer is C. C is the previous sibling of D. So these are the terms that you need to know before we start DOM traversal method. If you understand this simple chart, you can understand all of this method. So let's start the practical and see how we can use it. And in this tutorial, I'm going to cover only two elements, parent element and parent node. As you can see, side by side, I open my Visual Studio Code editor and my browser using Live Server extension. And I already created an HTML document named index.html. With that, I already link our main.js file, main.js. Now it's completely blank. And you can see in the body section, we have an outer div. And inside this outer div, we have inner div. And inside the inner div, we have some child elements. A, B, C, D, E. And in our outer div, we set an ID, outer. Similar to inner div, we set an ID, inner. And in the child sibling, also we set an ID named child C. So we have total 5 div element inside the inner container. So we are going to start our practical with parent node and parent element. At first, I want to target outer div using inner div. So let's jump into the JavaScript file and see how we can do it. Here I'm going to type document dot get element by ID. Inside the round braces, we need to pass the ID name. And the ID name is inner. First, I want to target the inner ID. The pink area is inner element area. Using the help of inner element, I want to target the outer element. So I'm going to use parent element method. Parent element. And I'm going to move this line into a variable. Where A equal to document.getElement by ID dot parent element. And now I'm going to print this variable in our console section. So I'm going to type console dot log inside the round braces our variable name A, then semicolon to end this line. If I set this file, you can see my console, it's written outer. It's written outer div section. And if I hover my cursor on this section, you can see it highlight the outer div section. So inner div parent is outer div. But who is the outer div parent? And if I select the outer ID here, so I'm going to pass outer, and I want to show the outer ID parent element. If I save this file, you can see in my console, it's body. The parent element of outer element is body. Now the question is, who is the parent element of the body element? So I'm going to duplicate this line and comment out previous one. And I'm going to type document.body dot parent element. If I save this file, now you can see in my console, it is HTML. HTML is the ultimate parent element of all of the tags. So using this kind of targeting method, we can do anything. So I'm going to comment out this line and uncomment this one and save this file again. Using this targeting method, we can change inner HTML, we can change style, we can change whatever we want. Suppose I want to change outer background color. So I'm going to duplicate this line and comment out previous one. And here I'm going to type parent element dot style method. And here I want to change background color. Background equal to, and I want to set background color red. If I save this file, you can see the result. As you can see, it add a background color to our HTML tag because here we pass outer element and it select the parent element of outer element, and the parent element of outer element is HTML. But if I pass inner here and then save this file, now you can see it's changed the outer element background color. But we select inner element. Using the inner element ID, we successfully target the outer element, and also we apply a style to this outer element. So I hope now it's clear for you how we can target parent element. And now I want to select the inner element using the help of child element. If I show you my index.html file, here you can see there is a child element named C, and also we set an ID child C. So I'm copy the ID name child C and back to the main.js file, and here I want to replace inner with child C. If I save this file, now you can see we successfully change our inner background color red. Now let's talk about the another command, which is parent node. There is not too much difference between parent element and parent node. So I'm going to duplicate this line and comment out previous one. And here I'm going to type parent node. Parent node. If I save this file, as you can see, it's written the same result. But the main difference is if we use parent element, and if the parent element is not available, then it's going to return null. And if we use parent node, and if the parent element is not available, then it's going to return something. Let's make it more clear. So I'm going to remove this style portion. Just I want to return parent node. If I save this file, now you can see in my console it's written inner, because the parent of C child is inner element. But if I back to my index.html file, as you can see in our HTML tag there is an ID main, and I'm going to copy this ID and back to the main.js file, and here I want to pass the ID name. Now I want to return the parent element of HTML tag. After save this file, as you can see, it's written the document. It do not return any null. But if I pass parent element here, let me show you. I'm going to duplicate this line and comment out previous one, and here I'm going to pass parent element. If I use this function and save this file, as you can see, it's written null because there is no parent element of HTML tag. So this is it for this tutorial. In the next tutorial, we are going to learn children and child node methods. So thanks for watching this video. Stay tuned.